Hello, my name is Elijah Huntington, and I'm in the video games class here to do a presentation on the video game I selected for analysis. The title of the game is The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, and let's just jump into it. It's the fifth installation of an Elder Scrolls series set in medieval times. It's a medieval fantasy game, which kind of brings us into genre. Skyrim is an open world role playing game, or RPG for short. Uh, as soon as players enter the world, they do a quick tutorial um, to escape the starting world, or the starting city, I mean. And from there, it's really up to their discretion. There is a main story that they can kind of follow, but as they go through that story, they're introduced to all sorts of side quests, other main arcs within the game. There's all sorts of options for role playing. You can be a wizard, a warrior, an archer. You can even be a thief. There's a lot of different aspects to the game, and that's part of why it was so successful. Uh, Highlights of the game. So for one, when Skyrim released, it was pretty groundbreaking. There were so many non-player characters, so many sort of other characters in the game that you would interact with. I don't remember the number, but I believe it's over 500, as well as a variety of enemy creatures to go out and hunt or make friends with, even depending on how you want to play the game. Um, Over here, I put non-linear progression because within the game there are a multitude of factions that you can join. There's a thieves guild. There's an imperium which you can join to fight for the empire. Um, there's actually a counter rebellion against the empire called the Stormcloaks, and you can join them to fight off the empire. And those choices actually impact how the world is shaped. It changes the characters you interact with, whether they're your friends or your enemies. Not to mention the amazingly diverse combat system, especially for its time. Um, there are different dialogue options that, as you speak to someone, you can select what you want to say to them. It's from a preset uh, sort of list of responses, but it's up to you which one you choose. Um, According to an IGN article I found, and it seems pretty accurate from my experience with the game, and now is probably a good time to state that I have about 1,200 hours into Skyrim, so clearly it is a game that I enjoy. There are six major quest lines and arcs, which are separated from each other. You can play through one without ever having touched the other, but they do reference each other within the game. For example, that Thieves Guild I mentioned earlier has a lot to do with another quest line called the Dark Brotherhood. They actually interact with each other within the quest line, although one doesn't need the other to complete the story. Um, Within that, there are a number of secondary quest lines. There's a college of Winterhold where you can go to learn to be a better wizard, essentially. Um, and you can play through the entire game without ever have going to the College of Winterhold. Um, the game is also technically endless, thanks to a system that Bethesda introduced called Radiant Quests. And that basically means that as you go through the world, there are randomly generated quests. You might walk into a tavern, into a town you've never been to before, and there are three different people there who need your help. And one of them has a family artifact in a dungeon on the other side of the map that they need you to go get, or another had a family member kidnapped by bandits you need to go rescue. And all of those events are randomly generated. Many of them are presets, but even if you go through all of the quests that are pre-installed into the game, all of the quests that you could possibly complete, more side quests will generate. We'll move on to another reason the game was so successful. I put this onto a secondary slide because what happened with the game is really quite unique to Skyrim. Um, when it was released, there was free modding softwares that Bethesda sort of subtly released on the side. Some of it was leaked, so it was shared not through legitimate channels, I suppose, but Bethesda also made a community, an online community where they released software patches. They released the code to the game so that people could go in and freelance developers could create mods for the game. Um, with that, Skyrim became VR capable for the first time through modding in 2015. And then Bethesda released an official virtual reality version of the game in 2018. Um, the modders have done incredible things with the game. They've revitalized the landscapes. I put in a comparison picture of just the vanilla game or a modded version where, as you can see, the trees are a lot more filled out. The water looks more blue. There's actually reflections of the trees in the water, which is not something that they would have had the capacity to do in 2011 when the game was released. But today, the modding community has continued to keep the game alive and introduce new aspects. Um, for instance, new spells, weapons, armor, even characters and plot lines. There's a very massive effort online. It's been going for over a decade now. I believe it started in 2014 to create Skyrim Hammerfell, which adds in an entirely new map. All of Skyrim takes place within one country. This introduces a whole new country, completely developed by the community. Um, some aspects you have to pay money for, but a lot of it's actually free, which is the craziest part of it all. Um, and I think a lot of that comes down to the significance that's been introduced within the gaming community. Um, oops, got my mouse on screen there. A lot of that has come down to the significance it's had on the gaming community. Um, Skyrim is a very magical game. It captured a lot of people's attention and has continued to for, let's see, we're in 2025, 14 years now. It has inspired many individuals to enter gaming development. It's inspired future releases. Skyrim really set the bar for many games. There weren't, I don't believe there were any RPG role-playing games that were released after Skyrim that haven't been directly compared back to it because it has become the gold standard, so to speak, for this genre. Um, it broke the mold for first-person shooters, games like Call of Duty, Halo, other, just run and shoot games were very popular during that time, and Skyrim sort of broke that mold. It was sort of groundbreaking, I suppose, in that way. Uh, the game had a big focus on morality of your character. You could be friends or enemies with just about anybody in the game. That is to say, you could make your enemies friends or your friends enemies. Um, Here's a quote that I really like. I always keep this in the back of my head. What is better, to be born good or to overcome your evil nature through great effort? Which was said by a time-traveling dragon, which, again, you have to either choose to side with him or against him within the game. Um, and I think that is a bit of um, a very moral question to be asking in a game about medieval spellcasting and warriorship. It's not something that people really expected when coming across the game to be be questioned with such a moral question, to be exposed to such a moral conundrum. Um, Skyrim was very, very successful. Not as successful as like the top three, like Grand Theft Auto or Minecraft, but it has been released. It was first released on the Xbox 360, then it came to PlayStation 4, and it's been in every single yeah, I can't think of one. Every single preceding console, including virtual headset releases such as the MetaQuest or the HP Vive. Obviously, it's been on PC. It was even released for the Nintendo Switch. So they've got it running on every gaming console. And to be released on a console that came out so many years after the game's release just speaks to how successful it was. 7 million copies in the first week and 60 million by 2023. That number is likely closer to 70 million, although I couldn't find any hard stats. It won Game of the Year the preceding year it was released, Best RG, Best Role-Playing Game as well, and it won Bethesda the Best Studio Award. And then when it was re-released in 2018, it also won the Best Virtual Reality Game. So Skyrim was very successful when it came out and continued to be, thanks to a variety of reasons, really. There's a lot to look into with the game. Here are my sources. I had to go to IGN for a lot of them because there's not, there are official sources, but it's basically all advertisement to the game. To find actual discourse, I had to go through, I guess, what wouldn't be considered traditional APA sources, but I think they work well for it. And thank you for listening to my presentation.